Hello, you're listening to Who Agrees with me, Paul Black.
And me, Kendra McPherson.
Big shout out to our sponsor, Iola, who are saving us from looking very hungover today with these gorgeous specs.
I am so thankful today for these glasses. Like when I stepped out the house, I was like, I need these to pull the vibe together because I was looking a bit haggard. Whereas now I think I look stylishly haggard.
You do.
Yeah.
And that's what a good pair of specs can do for you.
Exactly. They're working for me and I know they'll work for others.
So guys, we have came straight to the studio from the Edinburgh Fringe.
The grind actually never stops when you think about it. The talking never ends.
It doesn't. Like
It never. How many words do you think we've said over the past 3 days?
I don't want to know about that. All I keep thinking about is that ledge girl that came up to us and said, how do you still have stuff to talk about?
That has resonated so much.
It's extra true now.
It endures.
And as I said to you just before we started recording, I went, nothing ever ends.
No.
It's on repeat like it's
ends.
endless.
But we had such a fun time, didn't we? I actually, see, by yesterday, I was like, oh, I kind of don't want it to be over. I wish we were doing more.
It always feels that way. And also, see with the Fringe, I think people that do the full month still feel, every time I've done it, and I've only ever done like 2 weeks, I always think at the end of it, I'm like, right, now I know what the show is and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Well, no, I felt like actually all of our shows went, I think, not to be boastful, really well. They went exactly how I would have liked them to have gone. But I think by the Sunday, you're really, like by the third one, we were really like at ease and having fun with it because we knew that it was all going really well and that the audiences were all good and everyone was so nice and stuff that I was like, oh, I could go a wee bit longer, I think.
Oh yeah, I think we could have just kept doing it as many times.
I bet like people that are like veterans of the Fringe are listening, if they do, being like, fucking 3 days, yeah, okay. Like fair. I was like, I'm fucking knackered, by the way, genuine. I slept till 11:30 this morning. That is so unlike me.
Really? Like whoa. Imagine that.
Like I was conked to fuck, but I got in at about like 2.
Yeah, so after last show we did go and have a drink with friends. So on our last show a lot of our friends came through, about 25 of them to
they
be
filled
exact.
up the whole front row to the left side.
And they made themselves very at home at the front.
Absolutely. Very, very at home. One was actually like resting up like it was our living room.
I just lying down. And I really appreciated that because I like people to be comfortable at our shows.
Of course.
It was also roasting all weekend and it's still roasting now. So much so that Lorenzo just casually unzipped the side of his tracksuit bottoms.
It's a useful addition to this wardrobe, I think, for
and
the
what
studio. I think they're for if you're playing sport and you're maybe wearing shorts underneath them.
Why not just wear the shorts?
Because I don't want to cut about in shorts sometimes.
And you need your calf to be kissed by a man.
Yeah, if you need
While you're
that
playing
in a pinch.
That happens in sports.
I
would play more sports.
Lorenzo, I really, really did not expect that those trousers would do that. I have seen you wearing those trackies a few times and I've never thought that was a possibility.
They were capable of that.
I've never had to pull them out.
Have you ever,
it's particularly hot right now.
Have you ever done that in public?
No.
Would you?
No. I would do it in the house and then get abuse for it in the house.
If you did that in the house, I would literally just be like, why?
Yeah.
You're in your house, please just get your legs out.
I was going to say, just take them off, and then I didn't say, but you just
take it
off.
I
say maybe more my in-laws' house. It's like it's a go-between between taking your trackies off and
it's a nice
these are my in-law pants.
But if I was your in-laws and you did that, I'd be like, Mel C in the house.
Yeah, I know. I was giving Quinn's out of the question. Cheryl Cole X Factor performance. But it is roasting in the studio. But it was so... I was actually so thankful yesterday that we had such a beautiful summer's day to celebrate with friends after the show.
I was struggling with it though because I really was like...
I was worried about your double crown.
Yeah, about my double crown that's been really, really battered by the sun recently, as we all know.
You've been so open about it recently, though, refreshingly so.
Yeah, I keep talking about it. I spoke about it on stage every day because there was people, the way the seats worked, there was people behind, kind of almost behind me, but to the side of me, and I kept saying you could see my double crown.
But not burned yesterday.
No, but I genuinely am terrified by my sunstroke.
I know, I don't blame
every
you.
day, I've been in Edinburgh since Thursday, right? And every day I've been there, I've been like...
But Paul, think about what you went through.
I went through a lot.
Like that is really a lot. So I can see why you're now scared of the sun.
And also, I don't know if it was because it was sunny the full time we were there, but that is the most shattered I've ever been this morning after the Edinburgh
No,
Fringe.
but Paul, you were genuinely going from pillar to post.
Yeah,
you were
and
like,
do you know what? There's not a single person I didn't tell that to.
what did my dad call you again that we'd never heard of? The dockyard cat?
The dockyard cat or something, but
So
no, it was a
I
bit
thought
bare.
he said to Paul originally, you dock your cap or something. I was like,
think
what
he
the
said-
fuck are you saying?
I think it is that.
No, it's not. It's the dockyard cat because he explained why. He said at the dockyard.
I thought he said dock your cat.
No, so
Dockyard cat.
yeah, in Dunfermline, right round that way, the dockyard's obviously like one of the main places where you would find work back in ye old times.
Back in the
And
better
if you were the
days.
dockyard cat, you were always there.
Yeah.
So he was like,
He
"You're the
said if you were
dockyard
always
cat of the
clocking in
Fringe."
overtime, he went, aye, that's how you would slag someone. But I
Yeah.
was. And if you haven't heard me say this in person, on a stage, or to your face, or to someone as you're walking past, or on my Instagram stories, I had done 10 gigs over that weekend.
That is quite a lot considering you weren't actually doing a show.
Yeah,
Do you know
and
what I mean?
It was all because I'm a stupid cunt who can't read emails. I genuinely thought
And-
I'd booked to do it over 3 weekends.
But also, Paul, you're really lucky that you didn't double book yourself or anything.
Yeah,
Do you
because
know what
I
I
do
mean?
that often.
So that actually worked out quite like you were doing so much work, but it was spaced out. Like
And
I feel
9
like you
of
had
them were
time.
in the same room.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And I was just never, but I tell you, shout out to the Stand. Love performing in the Stand.
Yeah, it was a
and
very
what I
nice
love
venue.
about the Stand, endless McCoys in the green room.
Yeah, the snacks were
And I don't often take a
buffing.
McCoy.
Oh, but when I take one, I take
Oh,
one.
Crispy
do.
M&Ms. Which is
Crispy
like,
M&Ms. And, actually, yeah, before our first show, there was both peanut M&Ms and KP nuts in the
And
dressing room. And Kendra kept going, she was like, I'm feeling a bit nervous. And she went, I'm going to do this. And then proceeded to pretend to shove them down her throat.
I could if I wanted to if things went awry. Also, I forgot to say to you, but so not only was I greeted with that, which by the way isn't anyone's fault. I actually didn't flag that I had any allergies before, so I can see why they were there. I should probably do that in future. But before that,
they wouldn't remove
when
them
I
during
know-
the fridge.
I
They
know,
wouldn't.
true. But loads of people, so many people are allergic to peanuts. I feel like it is actually quite a risky business providing them in a communal area. Anyway, when I was on my way through on the new fabled Flixbus that everyone seems to think I'm trying to get a brand deal with, but I'm not. I literally just love
I'd take
talking
it.
about the Flixbus because it's so air-conned in these trying times. But when I was on that, there was a guy in front of me who put his bag in the overhead, which was like nearly over my head, and he had a bottle of peanuts. like a long
Like an actual,
glass bottle of peanuts. And I was
like
like,
something you would win at a fair.
no, but imagine this, that dropped, and not only did I get glassed, but I then died of anaphylactic shock from the
know.
bottle of peanuts from the
That
overhead
is the
compartment.
definition of damn.
Double homicide. But it reminded me of, I remember once I was on a flight to, I think I was on the flight to London or something, and I was really flustered for some reason getting on, and it was really busy, and I was obviously feeling like I was in my slapstick comedy era because I put my bag in the overhead, but I had a bottle of water that I hadn't like tightened the bottle lid of, and it started literally pouring all over the person in front of me's head. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like literally covered by
Again,
water.
I'm going to say what I said in the same ilk of people who, when they like trip or fall up and go, like instead of just laughing it off, even if you've broke your leg, you should be laughing for the sake of the people around you.
Oh no.
If people do that, you would be like, have a laugh about it.
He was fucking furious. Yeah, because in my head I was like, obviously it is an inconvenience that you are now absolutely ringing.
But see
on
if
the
that happened
flight.
to you, well, maybe actually
No,
I
I
can
would
picture you. No, I can picture you being like,
It would depend who was the reason
if a
for
man
that
done
happening.
it, if it was a woman, you would kiss her
no.
and say thank you.
But I
it
would
was-
appreciate that it's a fucking funny situation to happen.
I would be like, don't worry, do it again.
Yeah.
Please.
Don't
Fuck it, do I have a
go
waterfall?
chasing waterfalls. But yeah, I was like, if this bottle of peanuts falls and does this to me, how will I even explain
Do
that?
you remember that this is a throwback? Natalia Kills.
Who's that again?
She was like she came in like probably 2010 or something. She came about, but she kind of was it was very Lady Gaga-esque
I remember the
imagery
name.
and all that. And I
Uh-huh.
think it was quite like, people thought she was maybe a wee bit a rip-off, but she had a few really good songs, and she had one called Mirror, and it used to go, and the mirror's gonna fall tonight. No.
Nah.
But I was just thinking that, and the peanuts gonna fall tonight from on your head.
Oh, luckily it didn't happen, and I arrived to the Fringe safely to be greeted by more peanuts, which I was able to avoid. So all's well that ends well.
But the shows were great. Thank you so much to every single person that came along.
Everyone's so nice.
And we need to shout out our guests.
Oh, our girlies that were involved.
In the quiz,
how funny,
yes.
no guys.
No guys.
All girlies.
Shocker.
I know.
But no, during the show we had our Wheel of Discourse, which we asked you all to contribute to. One of the topics the wheel landed on during our show was boys and their mums, which one of the listeners
Which got a resounding boo.
Yeah. And I at first I kind of understood that topic, and I thought, I get what they're getting at. I didn't realise how much it would resonate with the room. And basically we went on to talk about the insane phenomenon that's old as time is of mothers wanting to shag their sons.
A very retro one, but still endures.
And of course not literally.
Emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally, and also having this thing where they don't want their son to have a partner because they belong to them. And I said during the show, I went, if you're somebody who's brought your boyfriend along, right, and this isn't really his thing and he's coming because of you, and you're laughing extra hard at this right now, and it's really resonating, I want that boyfriend to know that she wants you to know that that's your mom.
That's our service to the community, though.
We
say the things others can't.
The volume of her laughter was an indicator of how much that is true to your mom.
I hope if I become a mother that is never me.
No, it won't be.
No.
It won't be.
Like, I really don't want that for me. I feel like if I have a wee boy, I'll, like, send it down the river instead of raising it, or make it gay.
Yeah.
That would be the only way.
But I've told you that I've always fantasized about, because when I watched Prince of Egypt as a child and I was really obsessed with it, I wanted to be Moses going down the river in the basket.
Yeah, it's very that vibe, actually. It's very that vibe, I would say.
You would do that.
But I do feel for both parties, because it can't be nice being the girlfriend of a guy that's mom wants to shag them. It can't be nice being the mom that wants to shag the son, and it certainly can't be good to be a son that wants shagged by his mom.
He's probably benefiting the most from the full
do
dynamic.
You think,
I'd
out of the drama
yeah,
triangle, do you think that's the dynamic?
Aye.
Yeah, I mean, it just couldn't be me, and I wouldn't want to be in the middle of that, so I think I would withdraw.
No, it's some freaky shit, and stop doing it.
And
I do like that a very kind woman came up to me after the show and she went, I turned to my daughter during that show and I thought, I don't want to shag my son.
But you know what is good? I think it's always handy for a moment of reflection. And if we're able to talk about things that allows people to stop and ponder.
Up the convo.
Exactly. Let's find out. Let's find out. When we go on the stage, we want to hold a mirror up to people and ourselves. It's our personal service, genuinely.
So one thing that was on our wheel,
I love the wheel, by the way.
I love the wheel. I think we'll always have the wheel.
Yeah,
it was
the
amazing.
Wheel's here
So
to
basically, we had a big TV screen and it had the wheel on it that we could spin, and it would land on one of the topics you guys submitted, and then it would zoom in so everyone could see, apart from the people sitting beside me. But it gave us a nice wee regular bit in the show where I could turn to them and directly tell them to their face what it was. But it kept not landing on the one I wanted to land on, which was, of course, Nicola Sturgeon's post-divorce era. That is what I wanted to land on.
But then it did at the final show. It did land on it after you'd said, which looked fixed, but it so wasn't.
It was literally an incredible moment, because all the shows I was like, please. I was even tempted to go home and add it 7 times into the wheel so it would definitely land on it, because I wanted to talk about it. And then in the last show, I said to everyone, manifest so hard that it lands on it, and it did.
That was a rousing
moment. And the room
moment.
erupted.
The room did erupt. The room also erupted, which I was like, felt like a word that you've actually brought into my collective conscious recently. My collective conscious, galvanised. I felt the room was galvanised when we landed on the cost of bras.
Another one I was ignorant to.
It felt really like the feminism AGM in that moment.
It shifted into being like not like in a funny way. It was like,
that's what I mean. It felt
girl.
Like there was a revolution, a big titted revolution. See, to be honest, I actually do think that I spent far too much time talking about how big my tits are on that stage. I was
don't think,
verging on crass.
I think, listen, the timing of the shows was all pretty bang on. We didn't run over, we didn't run under, and there was a time when it's because during that topic I don't have that much to contribute that I go, this is more for Kendra.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have, I was already just like, yeah, whatever she's saying here is correct.
Yeah.
So I didn't think, is this too much about your tits? But now that you say that, I'm like, you did talk about them a lot.
I did. And
but
at one point I even went like this, boing.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a bit crass. But at the same time, why is it crass? Because I am on the stage. I do clearly have massive tits. It is a bit crazy to sometimes not mention them, especially when they're relevant.
Yeah.
So
the elephant in the room.
The elephants in the room. I do agree with the statement that bras for big boobed ladies are very, very expensive, and it is a very infuriating process to have to part with your hard-earned cash. I did not ask to have huge
See if
bazookas.
you went and got the same bra, right, and there was an A cup bra.
That was P7 for me. That was in utero for me. I had C's when I came out the womb. Genuinely. And then my first day of school I had double H.
So it's like a double H more expensive than a A.
Yeah, absolutely.
How come?
Without a doubt. Like
more material, they say, don't
well,
they? That's their excuse.
They would no, but more material is fine to charge more when it's like an independent clothing maker. Do you know what I mean? Who's having to buy in that Primark, but you can't get bras that are really decent for big titted women in Primark anyway. But it is so insane how they justify charging more. I think they've obviously got to be of better quality, but at the same time, like, you're fucking making one anyway, so fucking just make it bigger. Like, I don't get it.
And that's why you have one bra. Damn.
Well, actually, maybe, but also I'm a very sentimental person, and I really, really like the greying bra that has a dagger for a clip in the back that actually hurts me sometimes, and others that maybe sometimes try and open it. But it makes me feel safe to have one bra I can depend on in this world.
When I was in school, there was a phase where, like, this boy was going to people, do you know how to open a bra with your teeth? And it was one of them where you had to be like, aye, obviously. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to learn how to do this? Because what if the opportunity presents well and they make me prove it? Because I've said, of course I can do that.
You going home pure hanging off your mum's bra straps.
Whoa.
Like, but that's an insane thing to expect a child to know. You're not like a fucking stripper.
I was in high school.
All right. But with your teeth, in what situation does a teenage boy need to be taking a bra off with his teeth?
But see, back then that's what you thought it was all about.
No, but it's given like hired stripogram for a hen do. Like, you're not a fucking Chippendale child. That's crazy.
Chippendale child.
That's insane.
Of drag.
That's so bizarre. I have never, as a woman, had a man take my bra off with his teeth, and is that a problem?
No, until
Should
right
that
now,
be addressed?
no, I literally could do it. I could. It would be a horrible situation.
In what sense?
No, but like, because
we could really push the YouTube channel here.
Well, we can move on, but I will say, I think I could, like most things, if I gave it a go, I could do it.
Yeah, fair. I value the belief you have in yourself. I will say that. But I do think that it was actually really, I think that's what's nice about doing the live stuff, is because obviously we PMSL and Rafflecopter in here all day long when we
don't ever drop Rafflecopter
and
again.
LMAO,
yeah.
No, Rafflecopter's so good. Like, Rafflecopter.
Wait, let's actually very
rolling
quickly
on the floor laughing copter is so funny.
But Raffle, no, Idgeball. We've not
Idgeball,
and that's so good because that's a modern one. Do you know what Idgeball stands for?
I don't give a...
No, that's be a D.
No. Spell it?
Idgeball, IJBOL.
I just burst out laughing.
But that's like a modern Twitter type one.
Idgeball Olympics.
And that's definitely not how people say it. They just say, I've realised, a lot of the time people use the acronym only for writing, but they never say it out loud. Mm-hmm. But Idgeball. I don't know.
Idgeball is so good. I would always say Idgeball.
I was Idgeballing so hard.
Well, speaking of Idgeballing so hard, at the live shows, you actually get, funnily enough, in real time, because it's live, what people like which I think is so nice because like we obviously PMSL in here, but at the same time you don't know what lands with other people until after the fact. But it's so nice on the stage because you feel like there's just such a nice sense of camaraderie with everybody because you're all kind of having a hoot and a holler together.
And it's so chill. I love
how many different names for laughing could I just have dropped there, by the way? Does anyone have any more?
A hoot, a holler, a laugh at Igeball, a ruffle copter, PMSL, LMAO, LOL.
Wallington's the third. What else?
Lolling the house.
Yeah.
Igeball in the house.
Laughing my freaking head
Igeball
off.
in the house down.
Yeah. Laughing boots.
Laughing boots.
Trollololololling.
Oh, that was... can I say something? I actually think that era of the internet was too short. We actually didn't have that, like, the big meme face and all.
The big what?
Meme face.
What was meme face?
So the big one that looks like a moon.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's and all that.
Oh, right.
And what else did we have? Le meme.
There was a lot of cheeseburger content.
No, what was the big popular one? Like a thing to say.
No, what was the one that was like...
That's where Rafflecopter came
nice
from.
something needs more something and shit. What's that one?
Nice podcast needs more cowbell.
And shit. That one.
Listen, do you know, see, I've had a real realisation lately. As time has went on, we've just all been living our lives, and I don't think we've realised how far away we've got from the era of our youth in many ways online, because to me, like, Tumblr is like maybe something people do consider a bit of a relic now, but see things like that was Rafflecopter and all that was so long ago.
Rafflecopter FM.
It was so
that's the airwaves that are running through the studio.
It was
right
so
now.
long ago, and now the more I get older, I notice getting older.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like notice that. I know what that was all
like
about.
I get such a fright if I'm like sitting on the bus or any public transport and I look over and someone's like using Snapchat. I'm like,
that's crazy,
why are you doing
that's
that?
Crazy. We couldn't even possibly have time to get into an adult using Snapchat.
No.
But I will say this amazing observation I've always made: people from small towns surrounding big cities, such as like places in North Lanarkshire, the other places, and I always say to them, use. Nobody here rents a house. You only buy houses. Nobody smokes. You don't have tattoos, and you use Snapchat.
Do you think that there's a link between any of those things?
Well, it's just small town mentality is do the heteronormative thing, which happens to be
you're right. Snapchat,
buying a new build home and having a Snapchat account well into your late 20s.
Snapchat is straight. You're right. It's not gay.
Aye.
Like
Absolutely.
Be Real is a bit more gay than Snapchat.
Never Be Real.
I quite like Be Real actually, but
Had its
Snapchat
moment.
is the straight older sister of gay Be Real. I would say
that's for the next Wheel of Discourse.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a good one.
Yeah, but
actually.
what I liked, just as your dad reviewed the podcast show to me, she went, it's just two of yous talking, and like you're just watching two people talking. And it's just like you're just watching two pals.
He's just discovered the concept of a podcast.
But actually, loads of people did say that as well, not just your dad.
Yeah,
your dad, who famously keeps calling the podcast mistakenly, You Decide.
You Decide.
Not
also,
who agrees, not who cares, which we've had.
Who cares? Very good.
You Decide the podcast.
We should definitely make You Decide some sort of segment.
That'll be our Patreon
yeah,
spin-off. Like Hollyoaks later.
You Decide.
Let's talk about this later. I had a
later?
brainwave. We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
Oh.
More waffles to be had.
But I loved the show.
Same.
Have I said that?
I can't wait for us to do more. I am feeling so emboldened by our experience and our time and our people that turned out and enjoyed it. That made me really, really pleased.
And I love Edinburgh. I hate to say it. Even though there was obviously various elements where it's hell in there.
I actually didn't find it that bad, but I feel I didn't fucking venture over.
Because we were in the good side of town.
Yeah, it was hellish over there. So.
It was hellish.
Yeah.
We were in the new town. Where the stands venues are is perfect because you can be away from, I mean, it's not like, nothing going on, but you're away from like just all the the bridges.
It's calm, yeah. Oh no, when we tried to get over
the
bridge that day to go to like Bristol Square, it was really, really hard.
South Bridge?
South Bridge, I think.
Well, it was great. One of them, they've shut one side of it entirely, and they've been doing roadworks for 35 years, and you can't fucking get across it. And I was so stressed the other night, and I've just finished a gig at 1:15, and I was
You've been working like a dog day and night, drinking coffee from a pot, genuinely.
have.
You have been.
And I was like, it's 1:15. I need to go over this bastard Cunton Bridge. Surely it'll be empty. Of course it fucking wasn't. And also, I was like, I need a vape now.
Of course.
And I thought there's one shop in front of me that is open, and it was that little one on either South or North Bridge or whatever one I was on that's open 24 hours. And it's a tourist shop that's open 24 hours that happens to sell vapes. And Ad went, oh, can I have that strawberry blast, whatever the fuck that's called, 20,000 puffs, size of my heat vape, please. And then the guy goes, and then he scans that card machine about me, and I went, oh, how much is it? 'Cause I thought I never checked. And then I looked a bit at my surroundings, and I went, this isn't going to be your average vape price. And he went, it's £17. And I was not that way, but everything in me went, Paul, do not tap your card on this fucking machine. And I would just say, actually, I'm all right. But the addict in me tapped that card, and the tired addict in me. Imagine how tired we are. The addicts are tired.
I'm sorry. 17 fucking pounds to puff fucking air freshener is insane.
And I paid it, and it's here right now.
No, and it's in the room with us right now.
Yeah.
No, Paul, that's ridiculous.
No, I'm sorry.
A fucking wee girl's
Listen,
fucking
as
cigarette.
soon as I done it, and it's not even a nice one, because you take a risk with a new vape, you don't know if it's going to taste like an email, and they often do. And I just couldn't believe it, and I was not operating on a lot of funds that weekend, and I took my priorities were out of whack. But you know what is amazing about doing gigs like that is, see if you just do it so intensely for that period of time, then you're like, actually, I've condensed almost half a Fringe run of 10 shows into a weekend, got paid for it, and then I can go back to all the other stuff I need to do and not be like, oh my God, this will never end.
Yes,
even though
fair.
I said things never end. But like, I was speaking to a lot of comedians, and I look like in the green rooms over all these shows, and everyone is so burnt out by the end of it. I'm really going to campaign for Edinburgh Fringe being 3 weeks. 2 weeks is too short. 3 weeks is perfect. A month, too long.
A month is a long time of someone's life.
Doing that, and again, I've never done the full run at stand up. People and now they start on the 31st. Now they're going, oh well, you'll do your preview on the 28th of July, and it's like, whoa, that is too many shows for a human being in a row. Most of them have one day off, if that, right? And that is just, how can you possibly, as a human being, be on a stage being really hilarious every night? You're always on. It's crazy.
I know, and that's it is hard being, but you know what? I say it's hard being funny every day, but we do wake up and do that every day.
We do for
free.
free.
And not on a stage and not being reviewed to a paying audience, but also at the same time, we're actually sometimes.
No, I'm not complete. I'm obviously this worst job.
I'm doing it for free every day, actually.
Yeah, so I actually should get your ass on that stage, but I tell you that all the time. Anyway,
we're actually going back through to Edinburgh next week, though. Remember,
I'm going back to Edinburgh tomorrow.
I really want to go to that Carlton Cafe, the one on Carlton Hill. It looks absolutely beautiful. I really want to go there.
But I don't think I'll be able to get up there.
Well,
I've done I did nearly 30,000 steps the other day in Edinburgh.
That's amazing, to be fair.
But Edinburgh is truly a walkable city.
Very much so it is, and I love that. I love being in a city where obviously I know my way about there because of my origins.
Yeah.
But I feel safe being able to know that I don't need to be dictated by a taxi or by whatever I can get there.
But even though there's something in the air of it all that makes you walk more as well, because I don't know if it's maybe not knowing wherever everything is and just walking to find things, or like, because my accommodation was 50-minute walk for the venue I was playing every night, and I walked there and back just because.
A nice straight road.
And I was just kind of like, well, why not? And there's so much happening, and obviously it feels really safe. But if I was somewhere like, if we were in town, we could walk home in 50 minutes, right?
I do that actually quite a lot.
Yeah, you do. But I feel like often like the instinct is to get an Uber.
Absolutely,
and I'm like,
or a train.
And obviously I completely forgot to bring up, which actually made my weekend even worse, that I had so many bags going to Edinburgh on Thursday that I didn't realise I'd left my AirPods in an Uber. So I was 5 days sans earphones. I still don't have them actually because I've not been home yet.
Back?
No.
Are they at your house? No,
they're in. I left them in an Uber.
So
but I've not dealt with that yet because
right.
I came straight to the studio from the Flex bus. No, actually I didn't. I got a train.
Yeah.
So I haven't dealt with that yet. I'll deal with it when something ends, but nothing's ending.
That's true. Said. This is a new beginning actually of having no AirPods.
But do you know what? I don't go a second in my life without headphones in of some kind, right?
I don't think that's good for you.
No, it's not. Of course not. And that's what I'm actually about to say, because I think it was good, because I was walking for hours every day, reaching nearly 30,000 steps with no fucking headphones.
Just thoughts.
And I wasn't depressed.
But you know
like,
what?
to me, instantly, I'd be like, no, I don't want to hear what I've got to say in my mind.
No, I
much.
think though, see, I try and walk places without earphones in more now because I think it allows actual thoughts to come in that aren't clouded or disrupted by music or someone else speaking or whatever. And it gives you the opportunity to hear what other people are doing, which is a nosy person I enjoy. But also I think and this is obviously not that it's a lukewarm take, but you can connect with more people without earphones in. Like you're more likely to chat or hear what folk are saying, because a lot of the time I think
eavesdrop more.
Exactly. Sometimes people do say stuff you totally miss, and I'm like, that could have been a really nice bit of engagement and like interaction I have with a stranger that I'm missing out on by listening to the same 5 songs over and over and over and over again.
It's true. And I think that this weekend cured me of ADHD in ways. Big claim, but I'm excited to hear this. Wait, I'm going to say it again.
You do
I think
seem
that
very
weekend
good.
started me on a path to recovery from
Nice,
ADHD.
nice.
There we go. See?
That is really nice to
I would
hear.
have just called you a fucking bitch. Otherwise. Or other gender.
Yeah,
term.
I see a real calmness in your core over this past wee while.
I just was so... It's weird because I was very heightened, but in situations where it's normal to be, such as going on a stage.
Absolutely.
That is where anxiety does make sense. Mm-hmm. Not in your fucking everyday life.
Genuinely thought I was going to shit through the eye of a needle before we went on.
You were obsessed with thinking you were going to shit, and I was like, Kendra, you're not.
I'm not being... well, again, I feel like I am being crass, but we were referring
You're not
to it
being
as
crass, you're being factual.
phantom swamp ass.
Well, whoa, don't say we were referring to it. Was solo came from your mouth and brain to say phantom swamp ass.
I was so nervous and my nerves were all going towards thinking that for some reason my arse was wet and visibly wet through my trousers. And it wasn't. It was dry as a bone, thanks.
Imagine you eventually get psychosis and your brand of psychosis is that.
Phantom swamp ass psychosis. Delusions of swamp ass. Like, I genuinely kept showing you my arse and being like, please just tell me if it's wet.
Not your full arse.
No, not like full moon vibes, but like I really needed someone. I actually needed someone to validate that I had swamp ass, but I didn't. So it was such a hard place to be.
Your nerves and anxiety can do to you because, and do you know what? I feel like nobody talks about enough. You can literally have drank 45 million litres of water, been bursting on a piss like you've never been bursting before, and you're like, oh, I don't have time to pee because the show's about to start, and then they call you out, you get on stage, you completely forget you need to pee for the full time. It happens to me every single time I perform.
But also what was making me so embarrassed was we had glasses of water on the stage and I do get a really dry mouth and my lipstick was making my mouth a bit dry and I reached for my glass and I was like Bethany Frankel in Real Housewives. I literally was like this. Shaking like a shitting dog trying to get the water, and I was like, why are you shaking? Because you need to be funny. That's so embarrassing. You're so scared of not being funny that you're physically shaking.
I'm shaking, Stevens. I can't stop.
Yeah, I do shake.
I take propranolol. I didn't take any with me this weekend, but normally I take propranolol.
I can never say it. Or propranolol.
I was going to say what nickname could it be, but you were already there.
PMSL.
Propilol, no.
Proplol.
No.
No, not that.
No. But I normally take that about an hour before gig. I take one of them because before gig.
Before gig.
Not before the gig.
Man, take propranolol.
I've got to. No, I normally take it before a gig, and it just makes me not shake. Like my hands, because my hands just shake. See, right now, if I did something, look, my hands are shaking.
Your hands are shaking.
I'm not nervous right now. I'm just that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I just really want to fucking impress you today. After all that weekend, I felt like I let you down. I wasn't really present because my other gigs. No, but I'm just shaking non-stop. Don't know why.
But that's what's so good about that, because it deals with all the physical elements, and once you can eradicate those, you can feel a bit better. But I did not feel nervous in the mind.
The physical symptoms.
But my physical symptoms before, my Jessica Simpsons before were making me shit through the eye of a needle.
Yeah, but that's what happens.
I know.
There's a reason why they call it a nervy poo.
Well, me and Lorenzo were chatting on the way yesterday, and I said, you know what, it's true, we have obviously had this conversation before, but anything good is on the other side of fear. So it's actually good to feel nerves or a change in your body's like disposition, because it shows that you're about to embark on something that you find a little bit nerve-wracking or risky, and that means that opportunities are abound. hopefully.
Hell
However,
yeah.
I did draw comparisons to also feeling like that when I used to date, and a lot of the time opportunities were not abound after a date, and there wasn't infinite possibilities.
Yeah, maybe don't. Yeah, it can be though. It can be.
Yes.
And it has been. So
Exactly.
it can apply to all. But if you're nervous, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to feel nervous. But it's so weird. See with the gigs, right, over that weekend that taught me. So obviously I don't, like most stand-ups do the full fucking Fringe all the time, and they gig constantly every weekend all over the place. But I don't do that, so it is always nerve-wracking for me when I'm doing a few spots around.
Yeah, I do get shocked that you still get nervous though.
But I less and less so. And I know that's why stand-ups always advise people to just gig non-stop, because that is how you get over it. And I do feel that way. I'm just like, if someone said to me, "Can you do this gig for me the night?" I'd be like, "Aye, okay." And then I would, but then I'd be like, "Fuck, right, I need to think about it." But before I'd be like, "I'm not opening that message for 2 weeks. I'm not dealing with that." But I think this weekend I realised that I was basically playing, because I was playing the same room, I would close a gig with like a 25-minute headline slot, and then half an hour later I'd open the next show with a 20-minute opening slot.
That's a
and
lot.
seeing the exact same set, I perform it the exact same way. First show, the audience are like, "This is the best show they've ever seen in their life." They're like take your top out. Like, they're loving it. And then the next show, it's just kind of like, "Oh."
Do you find that humbling, or how do you find that?
It is humbling, but I feel like it's happened enough times now that I'm humble, but I don't expect it. I almost expect it to happen, so it's a nice surprise when it goes really well.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's like, and I watch other comedians that I'm gigging with do it. I'm like, we're all doing the exact same set. Some people are just the right audience for it, and some aren't. And
that's true.
But that was a bit jarring for me, because I'm used to just I started doing comedy to people that have chose to buy a ticket to my show.
Yeah.
And
That's
not
a
like
good
try to
point,
win
actually.
people over in club slots, which is harder. It is harder, but you become a different type of comedian. And I've noticed that a lot this weekend. And I think the people that do the hardest job are people that are emceeing it and hosting it, because that takes like another level of skills of improvisation and chatting and being even more comfortable. And
I feel like for me, like improvising stuff, which is obviously basically what we do on the podcast, because it's not scripted, I just prefer that so much. And learning something, even though I know I can do it,
but
remembering
you know what? It's
it
on the other
freaks
side
me out.
of fear.
True, and
You're scared of
but the thing is,
forgetting
like,
things.
I am scared of forgetting things, but it is mental, because when I used to study and stuff, I could literally remember an entire
academic.
essay exactly and rewrite it out word for word, and I know I have the capacity to do that. I've just not exercised that muscle in quite a while. I know I can do it, so I feel like I'm downplaying myself, but I do just prefer when I just have to like wing it and talk. But I know you know what I was actually thinking, right, when we were doing the Vila Discourse, I was like, see, for a person that isn't like quick-witted, or like this isn't their bag, right, a wheel spinning with just a random topic and you then have to speak to a crowd about it would be like a Guantanamo Bay type punishment for some people. Whereas I'm like, this is great in my dream. That would actually be hellish for some people.
And I'm literally just booked to do a
job,
no, I wish. A gig in I want to travel with work. There's a gig in London I'm doing where you literally have to do stand up on the topic that just arrived. So
you're doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing it in October. You need to do a like stand up set on the thing it lands
for
on.
how long?
I don't know, actually. I should find that out. But I could be 20 minutes, it could be whatever long your slot is. But I'm intrigued for that.
That
challenge.
is flexing a muscle.
And do you know what? I'm so alright with dying on my arse. Like, see, I actually keep thinking to myself, like, see if I all the gigs that weekend were good. Obviously, all the podcast ones are amazing, but like the mixed bills, some of them are really good, some of them were alright. But there was one where like everything was going really well, and then the last joke, for some reason, not a single person laughed.
Oh no!
Like no, it was funny because like, and I'm not just saying that to like not be vulnerable, because I'll be vulnerable. But it was so funny because I was like, oh, they're loving this. Do you know what? I'll just throw in a new joke at the end, and I'll not say what it is because I'm going to work it up to being a good joke. And it was not even a joke. It was a throwaway line, and I think people were waiting for me to say something after it.
Right.
And then someone went, and then a few people went, oh, and then I went, thanks very much. And it's just, you need to end on a high.
That in itself is funny though, I know.
But it's so it's literally like
you heard the spit at the side of their mouths like this.
But do you know what was so good? I did a gig again with the stand, but they do it at the W Hotel, you know, the big swirly
Did you go on the
hotel.
terrace?
No, I didn't. But
That's
it's
beautiful.
like it was kind of conferencey vibes in there, and I think people that stayed in the hotel were just coming to the show, which was a big international audience, right? And I was doing 10 minutes, so that was the shortest set I'd had all weekend. So I was like, oh, this will be easy. But then I was so used to doing my long set that I was like, right, how do I condense this? I fucked a bit. Anyway, the comp was talking to some of the people in it and asking them where they were from. So there was a woman in the front row for Barbados, and there was a woman in the front row from Australia. And so I was thinking, right, okay, maybe I should like go after what the comp's done already and see if there's anything I can say to them. But then I was trying to think, I couldn't. Anyway, I'm telling a gig, and the punchline is a joke specifically about the Paul Madi roll shop, right? And this woman from Barbados had told the comp this was her first time in Scotland, and she's just visiting for the first time now. And I'm not joking when the punchline was regarding the Paul Madi roll shop. I turned around, this woman is pissing herself laughing, slapping her thigh.
Do you
the
think
Australian woman's going, and I'm like, why are you just laughing?
Yeah, what connections do you have to the
turn
Paul
around and
Madi
go,
roll
why
shop?
the fuck are you laughing at my joke?
Yeah, who are you to police their laughter?
Just in the way I just want to know, what about that did you find funny? Because the only joke is that, but I guess the joke was part of one of my old shows is that I said I'm definitely the most fuckable person in the Paul Madi roll shop today.
Yeah, they maybe just put two and two together.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't
so
take
funny.
a lot, but it was just so funny that I was like, the audience is so international, I'm going to bomb here.
Paul
and then they
Madi.
were howling at the Paul Madi roll shop.
That is good. See,
and I was like,
touches
what about
lives.
this? Me, you, the Paul Madi roll shop in Barbados.
Tonight.
Tour.
Needs.
Like, because I'm looking for my travel with my work.
Of course.
Always.
Guantanamo Bay or Paul Madi roll
But
shop
it was nice
Barbados.
overall to do all the experience, but it's very nerve-wracking. And it wasn't till last night that I could finally embrace the diva, and I can't remember her name, from Blackpool. You know the one, because you like my story.
Yes.
You liked my story twice when I posted it in the same weekend.
I love her. She's got a singing voice like me.
Yeah.
Also, did someone not reply saying
Kendra's
Kendra's looking well?
Kendra's that's a good one. That made me laugh.
That made me laugh too.
Kendra, I need to open it. They replied again saying Kendra's looking something else. But I don't know what else they replied. One bit of the show I've just remembered is when it was on the last show, right? The one where all our friends were like in the front rows, and you were so happy and like relaxed and like just looking at our friends longingly, to the point where I was just talking and waiting for you to respond to me in front of an entire audience, and I had to go, Kendra, and you were like, oh, you're talking to me? I was like, who the fuck else am I talking to at the live podcast?
I totally. So it wasn't even like I zoned out.
Because you have plenty of opportunities on out of me talking, but you've never done it on a stage.
No, that is a first, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I was shocked when you called me back into the room. But like I wasn't even zoning out. It was genuinely because like I do love our friends sitting in the front row. I do, and I think it actually made for a lot of nice back and forth. But I do find it very distracting. Not because they distract me per se, but because
Per se.
But
You'll never say per se. But the problem is, first of all, you
wait,
say
am I saying it wrong?
you say per se too much because how many times have I said to you per se? Because you're saying it like per se pig.
How would you say it?
Per se.
Per se.
Like separate the words a bit.
So I say not that
Per
per
se.
se. I think I do that. That might just be my pronunciation. But
Let's break
I
them
do
up.
say per se more than the average person. I
And
will
you
say
do
that.
also like to say, what was it I said to you the other day? I said, what would you do if you couldn't say and then said a phrase?
Oh,
It
what
was
is
like,
it again?
I must admit.
I must admit.
But listen, it's beautiful to have so much language to draw from
It's because
and to spice up your sentences.
when
with.
I say me saying I must admit in the
Yeah.
sack, no, when I say I must admit, it's because I'm trying to be balanced about something, and I'm semi unwilling to jump in with 2 feet, but I want to show the person I'm talking to that I understand. So that's a lesson in how to use I must admit for listeners, by the way.
Like I would genuinely just be like, what was the food like in that place? I must admit it was better than I expected, or I must admit I was expecting more.
It's striking balance between what you're going to say. But yes, as I was saying about our friends and me zoning out, I love when they're there because it makes me feel so good to know all my friends are somewhere all at once,
and
which
very
is
supportive. Like our friends are so supportive of our shows in a way that I'm honestly like I always say, our dear friend Rowan, who's I was going to say a friend of the pod, no, she's just our friend.
Yeah.
But literally every time I've ever done a show, right, and she obviously when she comes to my shows in London, every show I've ever done in my life, I meet her afterwards and she goes, "That was your best shit." And I say to her, "No, it wasn't."
I believe her.
The one last year I went, "It wasn't, come on." And
when she blows
"No,
smoke up my arse, I receive it.
No, it's true. Because she's not the type of person that would just say it for like the sake of it. I believe her.
She does. She believes it too, I think. But I just was really happy in that moment, and I felt a very surging sense of gratitude that I could look upon all my friends in the row of this area that I just totally zoned out.
Do you know what was some of our very usually punctual friends thought that the gig started at 3.
That is
I feel bad for them because like I would be late for anything on earth. Like I was out of character lateness purely because they remembered the wrong time.
So did they arrive like in time for if the doors were at 2:30?
They got half the show. Aye, they thought they were early.
Oh, that's a sin and so unfair.
They said they only came in at the Wheeler Discourse. They caught Nicky Sturge bit.
Oh well, at least they got some of the high points.
And there's some of our biggest fans in that group, so thank you guys for still coming in for half an hour. I probably wouldn't have bothered.
That was kind, but a shame. We'll need to make sure the next time we do one that they can enjoy the whole, the entire confection, as the cook from Matilda would say.
But I want to say a shout out to our special participants in the Parasocial quiz.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Because we briefly mentioned at the start, but our quiz was basically in the show to show how well people knew me and Kendra and how well they knew the podcast inside and out. We were looking for the biggest fans. And also we kind of wanted them to know things they maybe shouldn't know about us, hence the name of the Parasocial quiz. And also there was a massive stumbling block where we would all rehearse the show. We were confident in it all. We'd all looked at the media with a fine-tooth comb, I think. And it wasn't until we were on stage in our first show with a big screen and we realised that it said Who Aggress.
The Who Aggress Parasocial quiz.
And look, it was me that typed that and made the slides.
I looked at it enough times as well. I am shocked that I missed it because I do have quite an eye for spelling errors, etc.
Yeah.
You famously do not possess that same eye, but that's fine. It's part of your charm. And that's why we kept it in for the rest of the shows, because it did become quite charming.
But people that didn't let us down, unlike me with the media, was our participants. We had Nave and Louise. We had Lucy and Suzanne.
Paris.
And we had Paris and Katie. So shout out all of yous. I know you'll be listening.
All
or
the
I hope
girls.
you will be. Yous did a great job. And sometimes it did feel like we were nearly bullying you on stage.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
But we were fighting your corner. We wanted you to win. We were trying to go. We were acting like we had some serious stakes in this quiz because we were literally like, you can pull it back.
I wanted to create a nice, like, calm environment for them, but I suppose it can only be so trying to go on a stage with burning lights and a baying audience.
Yeah, and I completely forgot that it might be nerve-wracking to be on stage.
Exactly. I think it's because, like, when people, like, just like what we were talking about earlier, like, we've obviously chosen to be up there, but I was still shaking like a shitting dog.
Yeah.
So, like, it was to be expected.
But it was funny because the questions were hard for a lot of them.
I think we made them quite hard.
And quite a few people, not just the participants, them as well, but some people that were just at the show afterwards when we all met them at the Iola showroom, they were saying things like, oh, I knew the answer to this one, I knew the answer to that one. I actually know where you grew up. I actually know what school you went to. I actually do know about that. I was like, that's exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, there was
we wanted a parasocial freak.
But then do you not think...
I get people don't want to say
it's crazy to know.
And we had a dode in the house.
Yes.
And you asked for dodes, but I understand. Nobody wants to be singled out. Especially that's right at the start of the show.
True.
When you got any dodes in the house, and I wouldn't want to be the lone dode.
Ask for Dodela. I just wanted to make the dodes feel included and seen. Yeah. My mission in the shows was to make dodes feel make dodes great again.
Love, go put your hands up.
I think that is quite jarring though to know, and I suppose that is just the horrifying truth of being known in any capacity, that there are people out there who like know those things. I mean, obviously you can say that about anybody, but like it's just funny thinking about people being able to like quick fire answer like what your middle name is and how many puppies are now Lucy's dog has, and that's just all out there in the ether.
But our winners, Paris, Nave and Lucy all got a picture of Dorinda.
Yeah, and do you know what was actually really touching my heart? I was seeing the winners posting later on into their evenings when they were out enjoying some revelry at the Fringe, like their little
at the
prizes,
pub with Dorinda's
their picture frames of Dorinda at the pub.
And she
That's
actually
so
was
nice.
a few places.
I
And
know,
also
she's like Greyfriars Bobby.
Nave who won told me, and I think she did tags it, said she was going to put it next to her shrine for her dead hamster Eric.
Oh.
And I thought that is perfect.
Eric and Dorinda in heaven together. They're probably procreating.
Yeah. It was a hamster.
Have you seen Dorinda?
Yeah, true. Sorry for
Do you
saying
think
that.
she shagged another dog? No way.
No, I know. But I will say, the last thing I'll say before we go is that I was getting some meal deals when I was out and about in Edinburgh because I was on the go. What the fuck? Tesco has stepped the fuck up with a meal deal. Have you seen this? Have you seen what Tesco's selling in
No,
wraps?
I've not checked in a while actually.
Well, the other day, I bought from Tesco a Marry Me chicken wrap.
Really?
A Marry Me chicken. It was actually really nice.
I'm
it
not
was.
surprised they've got on board with that because it is a phenomenon.
But I think that came from like TikTok recipes.
Yeah.
And you know, we're obsessed with this. We used to do this all the time.
Oh, we
in the
love
flat.
this one.
We would do Marry Me chicken, situationship, linguine.
Divorce me pad thai. Consciously uncoupling couscous. What else?
I like as well that we go between having alliteration and not.
I love the alliteration ones. I think they're strongest.
Ethically non-monogamous. Benedict, one of our friends.
I was going to say ethically non-monogamous hot dog. You can honestly do anything you want
can.
with them.
Yeah, you can. So submit your best.
Pansexual Nikoi salad.
Love that because all the other ones apply to the situation your relationship's in there, but you just did pansexual.
Why was I then
tuna
thinking?
Nicole salad.
Why was I then thinking of aromantic arancini? Ball.
Again, you're going into sexualities and identities.
I'm broadening the
and
net.
No, and we keep to the specific rules of the Marry Me chicken because you came out with really good ones.
Gender non-conforming arabiata. You can genuinely do them all day.
Friends with benefits. No, I don't.
Civil partnership, baked potato.
Staying together for the kids, fish supper.
Oh, that were good. That were good.
Oh.
Let's keep workshopping this,
Yeah, I'll have more.
You've been listening to Who Agrees with me, Kendra McPherson.
And me, Paul Black.
And that's us for another week. And big thank you to our sponsor, Iola.
Meanwhile, go and get yourself a pair of decent glasses at Iola. £85 all in, no hidden fees. Easy. Go and do it.
And please leave us some lovely reviews. We love to read them. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Boofin. And we're on Instagram and TikTok. And love you so much.
And all the everything and all the social media.
All the things on the computers and all that.
All that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Bye.
Bye.